Welcome everyone. In this lecture, we are going to see the system noise temperature and G by T ratio for satellites. The first we will see the noise temperature. The noise temperature is a useful concept that in communication services, since it provides a way for determining how much thermal noise is generated by active and passive devices in the receiving system. At microwave frequencies, a black body with physical temperature, for example Tp degree kelvins, will generate the electrical noise over a wide bandwidth, and the noise power is given by Pn is equal to K TPBN, where K is nothing but the Boltzmann constant and having the value 1.39 into 10 raised to minus 23 joules per Kelvin. And when we are expressing this one in decibels, it is minus 228.6 dB watt per Kelvin per Hertz, whereas Tp is the physical temperature of source in Kelvin degrees and Bn is noise bandwidth in which noise power is measured in Hertz. Here Pn is the available noise power, which is always we are expressing in watt and will be delivered only to a load that is impedance matched to the noise source. And the other term, that is KTP, is a noise spectral density and which is measured in watts per hertz. The density is constant for all radio frequencies, that is up to 300 gigahertz. Here, to describe the noise produced by the component of a low noise receiver, we can describe this by equating the components to a black body, that is radiator with an equivalent noise temperature Tn kelvins. The device with a noise temperature of Tn kelvins produces at its output the same noise power as a black body will produce the noise at temperature Tn degrees kelvins, such that this black body will be followed by a noiseless amplifier with the same gain as the actual device will have. Here we can also add the noise temperature to determine the total noise power in the receiver. In satellite communication systems, we are always working with weak signals because of the large distance will be involved in the communication and must be the noise level as low as possible to meet the carrier to noise ratio requirements. So here this can be done by making the bandwidth in the receiver, usually set by the IF amplifier stages, to be just large enough to allow the signal, that is carriers and sidebands, allow the signal to pass unrestrictedly, while keeping the noise power to the lowest value, that may be whatever is the possible lowest value, to that one we have to keep the noise power. Here the bandwidth that we have used, that is what we have given Bn, should be the equivalent noise bandwidth, and frequently we do not know that what is the equivalent noise bandwidth. So we are using that bandwidth in dB watt bandwidths of an receiving system instead of that we are representing. The error that is introduced by the 3 dB bandwidth is small when the filter characteristics of the receiver has steep ascent. What we want to say here is the bandwidth that we are representing, or always we don't know what should be the actual equivalent bandwidth of the noise. So that what we are doing is we are using the 3 dB bandwidth of the receiving system. Okay. And that 3 dB bandwidth is small when we compare with the filter characteristics of the receiver. So the noise temperature here is from, when we calculate, is from 30 Kelvin to 200 Kelvin, and that can be achieved without physical cooling if we have used the gallium arsenide FETs, that is when we are using the field effect transistors of gallium arsenide. That noise temperature will be in the range of 30 Kelvin to 200 Kelvin, and these amplifiers are employed here. So gallium arsenide FET amplifiers can be built to operate at room temperatures, and that will be we are using at room temperatures with noise temperature of 300 Kelvin at 4 gigahertz and 100 Kelvin at 11 gigahertz. Typically, this noise temperature increases with the increase in frequency, and the low noise amplifier for 20 gigahertz receiver might have a noise temperature of 150 Kelvin. So what we can say is, one might ask that how an amplifier can have a noise temperature that is lower than its physical temperature. So noise temperature is simply related to the noise that is produced by an amplifier to the thermal noise from a match load when we are connected, and the physical temperature placed at the input to the amplifier. The amplifier produces no noise at all. Its noise temperature would be 0 degree. If the amplifier produces less noise than the match load at the same physical temperature, its noise temperature will be lower than its physical temperature. Okay. So here we want to determine the noise temperature. To determine the performance of a receiving system, we need to be able to find out that what is the total thermal noise power against which the signal must be demodulated. So we can determine this by, or for that we have to go for the system noise temperature Ts, where Ts is the noise temperature of a noise source, and that noise source is located at the input of a noiseless receiver, which gives the same noise power as the original receiver, that is measured at the output of the receiver. Okay. So this will give the same noise power as the original receiver, and we are measuring this one at the output of the receiver, and that usually includes the noise from the antennas. So if overall end-to-end gain of the receiver is GRX and its narrowest bandwidth is BN Hz, the noise power at the demodulator input is PN0 is equal to KTS BN GRX, where GRX is nothing but the gain of the receiver from RF input to the demodulator input, and the noise power referred to the input of the receiver is PN, where we can define Pn is equal to KTSBN, and which is measured in watts. Let the antenna delivers a signal power PR watts to the receiver RF input, and the signal power at the demodulator input is PR GRX watts. Okay. What is our consideration is, antenna will deliver a signal power PR watts to the receiver RF input, and the signal power at the demodulator input is PR GRX watts. So this will representing the power contained in the carrier and sidebands after amplification and frequency conversion within the receiver. Hence the carrier to noise ratio at the demodulator that we can give is C by N is equal to PR GRX, that is signal power available at the demodulator input, divided by KTSBN GRX. Okay, so that is nothing but system noise temperature we have considered, then noise bandwidth and power gain of the receiver at receiving side, and that we are defining as PR divided by KTSBN, as GRX will get cancelled out. So from this equation, C by N equation that we have defined as PR by KTSBN, the gain of the receiver cancels out, and so we can calculate carrier to noise ratio for the receiving terminal at the antenna output port. And this is convenient because a link budget will find PR at this point, and using a single parameter to encompass all of the sources of noise in the receiving terminal is very useful, because it replaces several resources of noise in the receiver, that is TS. TS will replace several sources of noise in the receiver by a single system noise temperature TS. Okay. So this is what we got is carrier to noise ratio, and with the help of system noise temperature we can replace several sources of noise in the receiver. Now For the calculation of system noise temperature, that is in the figure we can see this is the simplified communication receiver with a RF amplifier and a single frequency conversion. There is only one frequency converter we have used, that is with the local oscillator. So from its RF input to the IF output we are converting the frequencies, and this is the form used for all radio receivers with few exceptions that may be known as superhet, and the superhet is nothing but super heterodyne. The superhet receivers has three main subsystems, that is one is the front end. That front end will include RF amplifier, that is we can see here in the figure, this is nothing but an RF amplifier, low noise power amplifier, a mixer circuit and an local oscillator. The front end will include RF amplifier, mixer and local oscillator. And an IF amplifier. IF amplifier will have the filters and IF amplifiers and the demodulator at the baseband section. This is the third section. Okay. So RF amplifier in a satellite communication receiver must generate a little noise as possible. It is called a low noise amplifier, LNA we are denoting as. The mixer and local oscillator for a frequency conversion stage that converts the RF signal to a fixed intermediate frequency IF with the help of local oscillator, where the signal can be amplified and filtered accurately by the band pass filter and IF amplifier in the later stages. Okay. So we can see that in many earth stations receivers use the double superhet configurations, that is double conversion type of transponders. Already we have seen that transponders has been used here in the many of the earth stations. So this diagram will give us that there are two stages of frequency conversion. That is, in the first stage we have converted the frequency from very high frequency to the intermediate frequency, and again we are up converting it. So the front end of the receiver is mounted, that is behind the antenna feed, and converts the incoming RF signal to a first IF which is in the range of 900 to 1400 megahertz. That is here in the first stage. This is antenna feed, and behind this there is the first conversion takes place. RF signal will be converted to the first IF, first intermediate frequency, which is having from 900 to 1400 megahertz, and this allows the receiver to accept all the signals transmitted from a satellite, and which is in the range of 500 megahertz bandwidth at C band, or it may be a KU band. We know that the frequencies for C band and uplink frequency and downlink frequency is 6 by 4 gigahertz, and for KU band which is 14 by 11 gigahertz. The RF amplifier has a high gain and mixer is followed by a stage of IF amplifier. See here, here is mixer will be followed by the RF amplifier. This section of the receiver is called a low noise block converter. Okay, what we are doing is there is again a mixer and which is followed by the filter circuit. Mixer is followed by the filter circuit, and this is called as a LNB, low noise block converter. As we have seen that the first frequency conversion we got the frequency in the range of 900 to 1400 megahertz signal. So this 900 to 1400 megahertz signal is sent over a coaxial cable to the set top receiver, and that contains another down converter. Okay, and a tunable local oscillator that we can see here is by the coaxial cable that will be given to the second converter, and that second converter will have a tunable local oscillator. This is the tunable local oscillator. The local oscillator is tuned to convert the incoming signal from a selected transponder to the second intermediate frequency. So this local oscillator will be tuned such that it will convert to the second intermediate frequency. The second IF amplifier has a bandwidth, and that is matched to the spectrum of transponder signal. This can be used in direct broadcast satellite TV receivers and at the Ku band frequencies. So with a second IF filter, and that will be having the bandwidth of 20 megahertz. So for this circuit we can see the equivalent circuit diagram, that is, this is the equivalent noise sources and equivalent circuit for the double super heterodyne, and this can be used to represent the receiver for the purpose of noise analysis. The noisy devices in the receiver are replaced by equivalent noiseless blocks. We can see here is these are noiseless RF amplifiers. Noisy receivers are replaced by the equivalent noise boxes, noiseless blocks with the same gain and noise generators at the input to each block. So there are noise generators at the input of each block is also given, such that this block will produce the same noise at its output as the device it replaces. What we are doing is we are replacing the noisy receivers by the simply blocks, and each block will have the input that will generate the noise, and so that this block will produce the output noise same as the noise produced by the receiver. The entire receiver is then reduced to a single equivalent noiseless block with the same end-to-end gain as the actual receiver, and single noise source at its input with a temperature of Tn. At the output we can see here is there is Pn is the power output, so the temperature at the output is Tn here. The total noise power at the output of the IF amplifier is Pn, and that is at the amplifier receiver, and that we can define as, see what are the temperatures. We can see here there is input temperature Tin, and this is the temperature of RF amplifier. Then this is the gain of the receiver, which is RF amplifier receiver, and this is having noiseless mixers gain and temperature, noise temperature of mixer. Similarly, this is the noise temperature of IF amplifier and gain of the IF amplifier. So cumulatively we have to find out the power at the output of the receiver, and that is Pn. So how we can define the Pn here is, the total noise power at the output of the IF amplifier of receiver is given as Pn is equal to GIF into K TIF Bn plus, see here you can look into the diagram, this is GIF and this is the temperature, whereas it is GIF into GMK TMBN plus GIF GM GRF. This equation we have right for mixer, this is for IF amplifier, and this one is for radio frequency amplifier, which will having the two noise temperatures. One is the radio frequency noise source, that is RF amplifier, and another is the input temperature Tin. So when we are solving for this equation we can reduce to, one second, we can see here what is this. G are nothing but the gain equations, that is GRF, GM, GIF are the gains of the RF amplifier, mixer and IF amplifier, and TRF, TM, TIF are their equivalent noise temperature, whereas Tin is the noise temperature of the antenna measured at its output port. So that this equation we can rewrite as Pn is equal to, what we take outside the common factor is GIF, GM and GRF into bracket KTIFBN by GMGRF plus KTMBN by GRF plus TRF plus Tin. Again the one parameter that we can take outside is K into Bn. So after that we got only what is the factor remaining is TRF plus Tin, this factor TRF Tin plus TM by GRF plus TIF by GMGRF. Okay. So the single source of noise that we can see here is the total temperature TRF, TIF and TM, that all the noise temperatures by the different blocks has been replaced by a single noise source, that is noise temperature. system noise temperature we can call this by Ts, and this will generate the same noise power Pn at its output. So what we are going to do is all the noiseless receivers are replaced by a single block. This is the gain of the noiseless receiver, and this is the temperature of the system noise temperature that will replaces the noise temperature of all the receiver blocks. Okay, so the single source of noise that we have shown here with noise temperature Ts generates the same noise power Pn at its output, and that is Pn is equal to GIF Gm Grf K Ts into Bn. Already this K into Bn, up to this equation we have. What we did is for temperature only we are replacing this one with Ts. You can look into the previous equation, that is this square bracket TRF plus TIN plus TM by GRF plus TIF by GRF GM will be replaced by TS, and after replacing we got this equation. The noise power that at the output of the noise model, as we have seen in the previous block diagram, be the same as the noise power at the output of the noise model A. That is, in the first, what is the noise model first is, for respective blocks we have replaced them with their noise temperatures, and with their another block is with their gain. Okay, so this is the first model A, and in model B all the blocks we have replaced with their gain, one equivalent gain block and one equivalent noise source temperature T, that will be represented with Ts. Okay, so whatever is the noise power that will be produced by both the models is same here, so that we can write KTSBN is equal to KBN into bracket TRF plus TIN plus TM by GRF plus TIF by GRF GM. Hence the equivalent noise source in the figure B has a system noise temperature Ts, that is Ts will be represented with this square bracket. So the system noise temperature is nothing but the sum of antenna noise temperature and the low noise temperatures, low noise amplifiers noise temperature. How we can define is Ts is equal to T antenna plus TLNA. As we know that the succeeding stages of the receiver will contribute a less and less noise to the total noise temperature. So frequently when the RF amplifier in the receiver, which is the front end, has high gain and the noise contributed by the IF amplifier and the latter stages can be ignored, the system noise temperature is simply the sum of the antenna noise temperature and the low noise amplifier temperature. So we are representing Ts is equal to T antenna plus TLNA. So the noise model in figure B that already we have seen, this is the noise model that will replaces all individual sources of noise in the receiver by a single noise source at the receiver input, and this assumes that all the noise comes in from the antenna or internally generated in the receiver. In some of the circumstances that we use a different model to deal with the noise, and that will reaches the receiver after passing through a lossy medium. So that medium may be the waveguide or it may be the rain losses. These are some of the examples. So when raindrops cause attenuation, they radiate additional noise whose level depends on the attenuation. So we can model the noise emission as a noise source that is placed at the output of the atmosphere and which is the antenna aperture. The noise model for an equivalent output noise source that we can represent here with the another model. So this is the noise model for equivalent output noise source, and that is given with what we did is produces a noise temperature Tn0. Tin is the input noise temperature having gain Gi, and noiseless device we are representing this one as a noiseless device, where Tn0 is the lossy device is replaced with lossless device with a single noise source Tno. So we have the output power is Pn. Tno is nothing but Tp into 1 minus Gi. Gi is 10 raised to a by 10 that we have replaced here. This is how we can calculate the system noise temperature. The next point, that is we have to find out the noise figure and the noise temperature. How we can define the noise figure is used to specify the noise generated within a device, and that operational noise figure is NF is equal to signal to noise ratio of input divided by signal to noise ratio of output. So noise figure is the ratio of signal to noise ratio of input to the signal to noise ratio of output. Noise temperature is more useful in satellite communication systems, as it is best to convert noise figure to noise temperature T. So we can represent T is equal to T0 into bracket noise figure minus 1, where NF is the linear ratio which is not expressed in decibels, and T0 is the reference temperature, that is 290 Kelvin. So NF is frequently given in decibels, and before we want to use this one into the equation of system noise temperature T, we have to convert this noise figure from decibels to the linear ratio. The another term is that we have to find out G by T ratio for earth station. The link equation can be rewritten, that already we have seen carrier to noise ratio for the system noise temperature. In that we have find out at the receiver what is the carrier to noise ratio. If we consider that to find out the carrier to noise ratio at the earth station, C by N will be given by, it is the product of power and gain at transmitter and again gain of the receiver divided by KTSBN, and which is multiplied by the path loss, that is lambda by 4 pi r bracket square. So C by N is equal to, so it is not path loss, it is simply lambda by 4 pi r bracket square. Carrier to noise ratio we can rearrange PT into GR by KBN into lambda by 4 pi r bracket square into GR by TS. Thus this C by N is proportional to GR by TS, and the terms in the square brackets are all constants. So we can consider here that this lambda, 4 pi r, PT, GR and KBN, all terms are the constant terms for the given satellite system. So G by T is used to specify the quality of receiving earth station, or it may be the receiving satellite system. So when we are increasing the G by T ratio, that is GR by will be increasing, this will increases the received carrier to noise ratio. Okay, so if there is an increase in GR by TS, there will be increase into the C by N ratio. So satellite systems may be quoted as having a negative G by T, which is somewhat below 0 dB per Kelvin. This simply means that the numerical value of GR is less than the numerical value of temperature, system noise temperature TS. Means in some of the systems, if we have G by T ratio negative, which is less than 0 dB, so the numerical value of gain of the receiver is less than the noise temperature of the receiver. This is simply we can denote from this. So in this lecture what we have seen is system noise temperature and gain to system noise temperature ratio, how the carrier to noise ratio will be related to G by T ratios, and then we have also calculated system noise temperature, noise figure and noise temperature of the system. Thank you.